Everyone says Bali is becoming too expensive, that you need a minimum of $4,000 a month just to live a comfortable life. Is this actually true, or is this just a lie fabricated on YouTube comments? I will break down exactly how much I spend on rent, food, transport, and all the other hidden costs you might not know about. I moved here last month from London and I religiously track every single expense using the app Travel Spend. These are going to be real numbers, not estimates. Your biggest expense is always going to be accommodation, and at this price range you need to be in a guest house if you want to stay in central Canggu. I'm currently paying about $480 a month for a guest house in central Canggu, Batu Belong Road. A better location doesn't really exist. My room is nice and spacious and I can get my entire room cleaned every 3 days. No shared bathroom like you'd spend in London, spending more than $1,300 a month. London is just not livable. To see the other reasons of why I left London for Southeast Asia, you can check my video there. And you can get much cheaper. Next week I'm moving to Pererenan, which is still a digital nomad hotspot, but a little bit more north, and I'm paying about $10 a day for 3 weeks, and not even a month. It would have been cheaper. If you don't mind living in the countryside away from the beach, you can easily get a whole villa to yourself for about $300 to $500 a month in Ubud. Food, and this is where the price is going to vary a lot. If you eat local, you can get a huge meal for less than $1.81 in local warungs. These are family-run businesses. Even cheaper is these common street carts that sell bakso, which is an Indonesian noodle dish, and you can get them everywhere, even in Canggu. Western meals are also very affordable. I get Greek gyros for about $3.97, an Aussie beef burger in a nice burger restaurant for about $6.97 with a burger and fries, and other international foods like Korean, Japanese are all priced quite similarly at the mid-range level. Upper range restaurants are a lot more expensive, but these are like high-class establishments in the West. About $10 to $15 a meal. Living in Canggu, you have access to more or less the entire world's cuisine at very affordable prices. In Kuta, I even saw the cheapest meal I've ever seen. Chicken and rice for about 36 cents. Eating cheap is obviously cheaper, but there's not a huge difference between eating in and eating out. For example, one egg in the local markets costs between 12 to 15 cents. This isn't that much cheaper than eggs in the UK. If you want Western goods like Greek yogurt, milk, cheeses, these are much more expensive, even worse than Western prices, because they're imported at the more fancy supermarkets like Pepito that only cater to Westerners. Now, fish can be very cheap because it's literally straight from the ocean. I got a whole fish for about $1.91, and I get about 400 grams of chicken, including the bones, for about $1.50. Coffee is about $2.71, around that price at the more trendy places. But expect to pay more in the more higher establishments that are more like fancy coffee. Coconut, in most local places, a big coconut is going to be 91 cents. Expect to pay triple that amount in places that cater to Westerners. Food is where two people can have a dramatically different experience and opinion on how expensive Bali is. I typically spend about $178 on restaurants and around $102 on groceries, but this does include coconuts. So roughly about $280 on food and about $30 on coffee. I eat out multiple times a day, and I go to international restaurants about 3 to 4 times a day. This can be much cheaper if you mainly eat at local warungs. But personally for me, I'm not a fan of the local cuisine, and I guarantee that my food bill is going to be much cheaper in Thailand and in Vietnam because the food is so good. Overall, I don't think I'm missing anything compared to other people in Bali spending double as much as me, because I know how to cook, and I really know the effort that goes into different cuisines. I'm not the sort of person who's going to spend $10 on a fruit bowl. So your third expense is going to be transport. I pay $108 for a monthly rental of my PCX. Now this is considered more of an upmarket motorbike, and it's 150cc. I think if you're a reasonably big guy, let's say you're taller than 5'8", I wouldn't get a 110, 125cc motorbike like a Click or a Vario in here, because if you want to get on a ride with a girl, it's a bit dangerous. I wouldn't recommend it. I pay about $3 for petrol every maybe 7 days, which is half a tank. I think I pay about $15 to $20 a month on fuel, not a lot at all. If you use Grab or Gojek, which are ride-hailing services, they are still very, very affordable compared to the West, but you're going to pay a lot more than me on your transport. For example, this co-working area where I'm at, this is less than a 3-minute motorbike ride from my homestay. Remember, I don't have to wait for anyone. This same ride is about 78 cents on Grab. These little 3-minute rides are going to add up quickly because you're going to take them multiple times a day. Now, if you're going for longer trips, obviously it's much more expensive. To go to these rice fields, it takes $6.88 one way, which is 38 kilometers. So it's a far distance, but you're going to pay a lot more money the further out you're going. And this is motorbike, this isn't car because the traffic is crazy in Bali. Overall, I would 100% recommend knowing how to ride a motorbike in Southeast Asia because it really is an integral part of life and you miss out a lot on freedom and experiences if you don't know how to ride a motorbike. But I wouldn't recommend to learn how to ride in Bali. It's actually a very hard place to drive, even for me who has years and years and years of riding experience in Southeast Asia. To see my complete guide on how to ride a motorbike safely in Southeast Asia, you can check my video there. So lifestyle is an area where two people are going to have completely different opinions. I spend $175 on my Bali MMA gym called Bali MMA. This is actually more expensive than my London gym, which is $135. But you do get access to a gym and you can go as many times as you want to as many classes as you want. Recently, I paid $142 for 28 days in Nirvana Health and Wellness Gym. So this is a really nice health and wellness center with sauna, ice bath and co-working. It's really nice and there's no comparable place like it in UK. Now you can get cheaper local gyms for about $35 a month, or what I'd recommend if you're a budget boy, budget girl, is get gymnastic rings and then you can work out for free on the beach in the nice sun, nice weather. I feel places like Nirvana really separate Bali from other digital nomad hotspots like Vietnam and Thailand. They don't have anything really that compares with places like that. Surfing 1 hour with a good instructor is $12. Bali is definitely the most affordable and without question one of the best places in the world to surf. Bali massage is about $15 an hour and this is from a nice reputable place. You can get even cheaper in Kuta, but this is a perfect example of someone who can pay a lot more money for a massage for the exact same experience. I don't drink much, but for context, a pint of beer in a supermarket is about $2.60. Cocktails are about $9. Now drinking can vary a lot in price depending on what sort of places you're buying alcohol. But in general, alcohol is going to be a huge waste of money no matter where you are. Co-working, I generally don't think it's worth it. There's not a lot of ROI. When you can pay a similar amount of money, because most of them cost about $100 a month for Nirvana, and you're going to get sauna, ice bath, wellness, place to network, it's not worth it co-working, so I don't use it. Now here are the hidden costs you might not know about. When you enter Bali, you have to pay $35, and to extend it by 1 month, you have to pay $35. Now you can circumvent this by getting a 60-day visa on arrival, which is about $60, but it's much more convenient. If you want to stay long term without doing a visa run, you have to pay about $330 for 55 extra days. I personally don't think it's worth it because instead of doing a visa run, I could just go to Vietnam for a couple months, go to Thailand for a couple months, and I can easily come back to Bali and I can get a 60-day visa on arrival. I pay $76 a month for a real insurance for digital nomads that's backed by a real bank. It's called Genki Insurance. This cost unfortunately gets higher as you get older, and this is one cost that you don't want to play games with, and a lot of people thinking you can live off $1,000 a month won't pay this. Don't play games. One little mistake in a scooter can really ruin your life forever. To know more reasons why it's so important, you can check my video there. And there's always hidden stupid costs. Like I broke my MacBook screen and I had to pay $300. It did take 1 hour to repair it, which if you don't have an emergency fund, you'd be basically ruined. And I also accidentally, when I was backing up to go to repair my scooter, I knocked over one of my homestay workers' motorbike. The bike, boom, and the light broke and I had to pay $30. These unexpected costs will and can happen, which is why it's very important to have 3 months of expenses, no more, just to cover these costs. To know more about why emergency funds are so important, check my video there. The reality is you can definitely live off $1,000 a month, even in the most expensive part of Bali, which is Canggu, but you have to make sacrifices. You have to mainly eat at local places and not do too many activities. Even so, you will live a much better life than earning 3x the amount of money in London, because you got to be paying $1,300 for a shared accommodation and a shared bathroom. dead. If you want to not really worry too much about expenses and still want to go to local restaurants, eat Western food, go to nice places like Nirvana, then realistically $1,500 to $2,000 a month is sufficient. Do not believe anyone who says you need more than $4,000 a month to live a comfortable lifestyle in Bali. They are incompetent with their spending and they're not conscious with it. Remember that the average Indonesian worker that you see in the coffee shops and in the homestays, they're earning about $200 a month and they have to commute, hour and a half each way. So if you're earning $500 a month, you're earning more than double the average wage in Bali. But remember, like them, you have to make sacrifices. So now you know that you can definitely live off $1,000 a month in Bali. But the real question is, how do you earn that $1,000 a month online? This is where most videos will skip. But luckily for you, I've created a free YouTube passive blueprint guide on how I make more than $2,000 a month completely passively utilizing YouTube search. You can access it for free down the link in the description in the pinned comment. If you found value, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's me, the London Nomad, and it's my mission in life to make you financially free. Bye-bye. Bang!